So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, depending on where you're watching me from. What I'm going to try to do in this video is talk about the Republic of Ireland. Before I proceed, Republic of Ireland is not same as Northern Ireland. Northern Ireland is a country that is part of the United Kingdom. Republic of Ireland is a separate country of its own in Europe. So because people tend to not be able to make a distinction between Northern Ireland, which is part of the UK, and the Republic of Ireland, which is a separate country. So we've cleared that probably the little confusion that people might have about these two countries. So today I'll be talking about mostly about the post-study pathways to permanent residency, integration, and eventually citizenship in Ireland for those who are coming to Ireland to study, especially at the undergraduate and the master's degree level. Before I proceed, I would like to make something very clear. These informations that I'm going to give you right now can easily be sourced online. Nowadays we are in the Google era. Everything is online. It's not like back in the days whereby probably you depended on word of mouth to be able to get valuable information on almost all issues. But I think some people do better when information is passed on through these internet platforms. People would like to watch. People would like to watch you talk about these things. Probably it will now inspire them to go online and then dig for more information on their own. So one of the things I found out about Nigerians who live in Ireland, especially the recent immigrants who came in to study with the intention of staying put and becoming part of the island, or part of the society, you can see the Irish society, is that a lot of people come in with the wrong orientation, they come in with the wrong perception. So on graduation, it becomes very difficult for them to integrate, especially at the economic level. Because let's face it, most of us, a lot of people who come here to study will always come with the intention of staying put post-study. So on graduation, they plan to stay back and probably get a well-paying job so that they'll be able to help out their families economically back home. But on graduation, a lot of people get actually stranded. And there are so many reasons for this. But I'm going to talk about the major reason for this. In Ireland, like in so many other European countries, in the Republic of Ireland, because I will always try to make this very important distinction. In the Republic of Ireland, like in so many other European countries, there's always a compiled list of skills or sectors of the industry or sectors of the economy that they are shorting qualified individuals to fill in job positions in this session. So there's always a list that is updated, I think, annually or biannually, depending on the country. But generally speaking, each country in the European Union will always have a list of skills that they will require to be filled by mostly foreigners. So one of the ways they fill up these openings is through what you would call education immigration. So you come in and do your bachelor's degree, or you come in and do your master's degree in those areas, after which getting a job becomes very easy for you. So being a Nigerian, I would advise you not to study courses that are like related to journalism, media studies, communication studies, and things like sociology, things like political science. Such courses will not put you at a very high pedestal with regards to getting a job, because coming in here with our accent, with my accent, I mean, you don't expect to work for some media house or become a journalist or a broadcaster. It's going to be very difficult for you because yes, you speak English language, but English language is also local. They've got like local expressions, they've got their own accent that it will take you time to fit. You probably would never be able to fit in. So I would advise you to leave those courses because journalism is not on the critical skill list of Ireland. Communication science is not in the critical list of Ireland. So it's going to be a waste of money and time for you to study some of these courses that will lead you to nowhere, unless probably you're coming through to come get your degree and then head back to Nigeria to go look for a job in Nigeria. Fine. But if your plan is to stay put post-study, you need to make sure that you study what is in demand in Ireland. There's a list you can go online. You can just put on Google, critical list shortages in Ireland. You will see the list. I'm going to try to talk about a few of the skills that are in demand over here, but of course, it's not going to be a very exhaustive discussion because I don't want to make this video very long. So at your convenience, you can look up this information later. I'm just trying to make sure that I inspire you to begin to do that, especially if you aspire to come over to Ireland to study. So, the admission process in Ireland is very complicated at both undergraduate and the postgraduate level. But it's not so complicated that you won't be able to do it. It's doable. Ireland is a very rich country. There's a lot of opportunities if you studied the right discipline, if you studied the right subjects. The GDP is one of the highest in the world. The Gini coefficient is one of the highest in the world. The life expectancy rate of Ireland is one of the highest in the world. They've got a very rich economy. Jobs are in abundance, but you have to study the right things for the jobs for you to access the labor market. As a foreign national, if an Irish citizen studies something like political science, the civil service in Ireland will absorb him or her naturally because it's a local. So some of these civil service jobs are reserved for locals. So you don't stand a chance. And those jobs, they don't fall under the critical skills list. You can't find them there. So if you study something like political science, it's going to be at your detriment. So before you even start dreaming of coming to Ireland, look at the list and find a discipline or a course on the skills shortage list that suits or that is related to what you studied in Nigeria. So let's say if you did journalism as an undergraduate degree in Nigeria. Obviously, there's nothing for you here in Ireland. You probably need to look for a postgraduate diploma or a higher national diploma that you do for 1 year, like a kind of a bridge program that will launch you into things like social work. Because especially people who are, let's say you study something that is related to social sciences, there's not much on offer for you in Ireland. There's nothing much on offer for you in Ireland. You're going to have to do a bridge program that will now enable you to do something like social work so that you'll be able to access the labor market. Because in Ireland, there's a very high demand for social workers. So on graduation, you will be hired. On graduation, you will become easily integrated into the economic system. You start earning good money and be able to take care of yourself and your family. So don't just go and study some random subject and then, or don't just go and waste your money coming over here, because it's very expensive to study in Ireland. The visa process is very rigorous. There's a lot of financial demands that you shouldn't just go and make all of those sacrifices only to come over and then study something that will eventually not integrate you into the system economically. So the admission process in most universities in Ireland, it's Googleable. The email addresses or contact details of most of the universities are online. We have numerous universities in Ireland. I'm not going to start listing them out here because of time constraints. You can contact the school, then they will tell you what to do. Some of the schools will accept application on their online platforms. They will give you the link. Some will refer you to what you call the Central Application Office, which is an online platform. Or there's also a postgraduate equivalent of that. They will refer you there. They will tell you what to do. Then you start the application process. So this is not about university application or whatever. I'm just going to give you a bit of a summary on, what it entails to get into higher education in Ireland as an international student from Nigeria. So the average tuition fee for a year's program in Ireland is between the region of 9,000 euros to 25,000 euros, depending on the course of study that you've chosen. So they also expect you to be able to assess what you call a living money for your, because the standard of living in Ireland is actually on the high side. So they also expect you, after paying the school fees, to have access to, say 600 euros every month. So if the course of study that you're getting involved in is going to take you 12 months, it's 1 year, and you can multiply 600 by 12. If it's a 2 year program, you can multiply 600 by 24. So, like I said, I'm not going to talk about visa and whatever. I'm just giving you a bit of summary of what it entails. So now, the admission process is not a big deal. With your WAEC, let's say you're going for an undergraduate program. If you've got WAEC or NECO, you're good to go. Usually, they don't require English test from Nigerians. Of course, because we officially we speak English in Nigeria. We are colonized by the British. So that requirement is not for Nigeria. Some schools are very strict. They would insist on it. But you keep in touch, through numerous correspondence with the school. You'll be able to tell them that, no, we studied using English, and English is the official language of Nigeria. And then you studied, you did your primary school, your high school, and probably you've got your first degree, you did everything. English as a language of instruction. That's not a problem. Say you are going for a master's degree. Most schools will accept your second class lower, which is 2-2. Some select schools would insist on 2-1, second class upper. So that shouldn't be a problem. So if you've got all these sorted out, then you go on and approach the school online. They will always reply you. It's unlike in Nigeria, whereby schools don't reply to your emails, they don't answer their calls, they don't return their calls or whatever. It's different out here. They will always keep the correspondence going. They'll give you the latest information. You'll be spoiled with, choices on how to go about your the admission process. So you are sorted in that regard. So as soon as you get here, there are things that you need to do, because as a student, you'll be able to explore the labor market as well. You can do part-time jobs. Legally, you are only allowed to work for 20 hours a week. Some people do more than that, but I'm not here to advise you on illegal things. So it's up to you on what you want to do as soon as you get here. So legally, you are allowed to work 20 hours a week. And before you start working, you need to get a tax number. They call it PPS numbers. It's like a social security number, without which you cannot access the labor market, with which you can freely work. So as a student, during holidays, you can work full-time. But during school session, you're only allowed to work 20 hours. So before you access the labor market, you come in. First, you have to register your arrival at immigration. It's a very rigorous process. because you have to make an appointment, and then they will have to, assign a date to you, at the end of which you get your student permit. They call it a stamp 2. The stamp 2 is usually given to an undergraduate, and that's bachelor's degree student and a master's degree student. Once you get your stamp 2, you can now apply to get a PPS number, which is the social security number, which is also the tax number. So it is only when you've gotten all these that you'll be able to assess the labor market. This usually takes anywhere from 1 to 3 to 4 months. So if you're lucky, on arrival, you can start the whole process and everything. If you get everything, you'll be able to start working immediately. And then housing is a big problem in Ireland. Housing is a big problem. You can Google it, you can look it up. It's a very big problem. So if you are able to overcome these obstacles, you're actually good to go. So some of the most of the undergraduate degrees is for 3 years. Some of the master's degree program is 1 year. Some are like for 2 years. You have to, these things, the school will inform you on these little details that are very important. So let's talk about the courses, the actual courses that you need to study that will put you on the right pedestal to assessing the labor market, to becoming economically viable, to fulfilling your main dream for coming to Ireland, which is to get your education and then become economically integrated afterwards. So, people in information technology, times have changed. We live in the computer age now. So people who studied IT are in very high demand in Ireland. They're in very high demand in Ireland. So if, let's say, you did engineering or civil engineering, if you did electronic or electrical engineering as a first degree, I would advise you to come and do something that is related to information technology as a master's degree program. If you don't have a bachelor's degree yet, I would advise you to go straight into IT related field, because there's a very high guarantee and high chance of you getting a job afterwards. It's not even negotiable. Once you graduate with at least a 2-2 in Ireland, you're going to get a job. So if you graduate below 2-2, it becomes a bit murky for you. It becomes a bit murky. So my advice would be for you to at least make sure you get out of the university with a second-class low, at least. So IT, very important, very important. So I want to talk about mostly disciplines that you don't need much experience to get an entry-level position in. Now, if you, let's say you already have experience in IT in Nigeria, and then you come over here and do your master's degree, your salary scale is going to be a bit on the high side, because now they will mostly here they tend to value experience. So when you complement that with a master's degree, a local master's degree or bachelor's degree, of course your negotiating power for high salaries will become very, 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 very visible. So if you've got experience, it's even better for you. So make sure you study those disciplines that fall exactly under the critical skills list. Make sure. So IT, you'll never get it wrong with IT. You will never misfire with IT. So let's go to engineering professionals. So if you study something like civil engineering, let's say you did a bachelor's degree in civil engineering, I would advise you to come over here and do a master's degree in civil engineering. There's a very high chance of you getting a job afterwards. So these things that I'm listing out fall under the critical skill shortage list of Ireland. Things that you would do, and then you get integrated faster. You can also do a bachelor's degree in civil engineering as well. Structural engineers, site engineers, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, very high demand. Electronics engineers specializing in chip design, test engineering, or application engineering, or process automation engineering, things like that. And the problem we have as Nigerians is that these very technical fields, normally we don't have We probably have the academic qualification, because most of the time we don't have the hands-on experience required. So that will actually act against you, because you can present your paper qualification. If you don't, engineering is a very hands-on discipline and profession. It requires a particular set of skill set for you to be able to thrive in them. So, but if you've got a master's degree in those fields, at least you can get an entry-level position because you lack experience. It's better than studying journalism. It's better than studying sociology. So let's go a bit. Information technology, I've already mentioned, very important. So IT specialist managers, IT project and program managers, IT business analysts, architects, systems designers, programmers, software development professionals, web design, development professional, and all other ICT professionals. Anything IT is a good mine over here. So let's go to health professionals. Now, medical doctors, you never get it wrong. If you, especially if you come in over here to come and do a bachelor's degree in medicine, that's a one-way ticket to success. You don't get it wrong with those. Then we'll talk about psychologists. Super. If let's say you did psychology in Nigeria, you can come over here and do your master's degree in psychology. You won't get it wrong. Industrial pharmacists, those won't get it wrong. Those high-load educational discipline. Those educational discipline with what you call, you have to be really, really, really clever for you to be able to study medicine, for you to be able to study pharmacy. They're in very high demand. They fall under the skill shortage list of Ireland. With those, you won't get it wrong. Then audiologists, cardiac physiologists, medical scientists, things that are related to medical sciences and some biological sciences. It will set you on the right pedestal to success. It will set you on the right lane to, easy integration post-study. Physiotherapist, occupational therapist, speech and language therapist, orthoptists. So you come over here, you do a master's degree or bachelor's degree in most of these disciplines that I've named. It's a one-way ticket to integration. Of course, nursing, midwifery, those are in demand. So especially I will advise people to come over and do a bachelor's degree in nursing. It will put you on the right track. And some of these things that I've listed is not age restricted. Like if you qualify as a doctor at the age of 60, you are still in demand. You are still in demand. But if you qualify as an engineer, mechanical engineer, something that is physically demanding or hands-on kind of profession at the age of 60, it's a bit different, because probably you would need to be fit for you to be able to be like a site manager. But to be a medical doctor, you can be 60, 70 years old. It's mostly a service-based profession. You can still do the job at a very old age. So there's a whole lot of, professions on the list, like skills that are shorting in Ireland, positions that they need to fill up in their thousands. You just need to make sure that whatever you're coming to do, be they a bachelor's degree, a master's degree, is found on that list. If you're able to tick this box, it's a very, very, very minor prerequisite. See what they want, study what they want, and then your pathway to integration becomes very smooth. So, unfortunately for social scientists and people who study social work, there's not much that you can do. For people who study social sciences, there's not much that you can do, because those things are not in demand. Things like political science, even law. I mean, if you studied law, if you want to come over here and do law, I mean, where are you going to practice law? Even in their law courts, I've been to their law courts. I mean, our accent, you need time to integrate. You need time for you to be taken serious. It's not even on the skill shortage list. So nobody, after studying law here in Ireland, as an immigrant, as a first generation immigrant, probably you came in through the educational route. There's nothing much for you. To forget about all those fancy sounding kind of discipline. You have to look at the list and see what is on that list. Even if you didn't study something that is directly on the list, let's say, you can look for something that is very related to what you studied, and then you can go for it. So that's basically it. So don't make the mistake of coming to an island. Is not like in the UK whereby you can graduate in sociology, you can still get a job at NHS, being a carer, being a care assistant. And no, Ireland is not like that. It's slightly different over there. You don't get a stamp 1G. You don't get a critical skills visa if you study something on that list. If you study something not on their critical list requirements. So it's a bit different. So people who study animation, if you can do animation, a design artist, like all those kind of a 2D or 3D animator kind of those are actually the only things found on their critical skills list that is related to the media. You know, the technical part of the media, and not being a journalist, not being a newscaster. No, forget about those. And then that's more like it. So if you study anything that is related to the social sciences, your best bet is to do a higher national diploma in social policy, which allows you to now migrate to social work. If you do social work in Ireland, you're also on your pathway to easy integration. And the good thing about social work is, even if you did engineering at your first degree level, you can do a diploma, a bridge program for 1 year, and then migrate to do a 2-year master's degree in social work, which qualifies you as a social worker in Ireland. So why I'm emphasizing on social work is that for those who studied social sciences, arts, humanities, that's actually the only pathway for you to get properly integrated over here. So look at the list, see where you are fitted, look at your background, look at what you studied at the undergraduate, probably, yes, at the undergraduate level, and then key into what is required, key into their expectation. And this expectation can be found on their critical skills list. Do those things, do these things that I've mentioned now, and it's going to be easy for you to integrate economically. Because I'm doing this video because I've seen our people who would come and do a master's degree in English language. They'll come over, they'll come and do a master's degree in gender studies. They'll come and do a master's degree in some of these Googleable, what I personally call Googleable degrees. And at the end of it all, they have to resort to getting married to get fully integrated. And then marriage here in the West is not something that I would advise you to get into, because especially if you're marrying for the wrong reasons, if you're marrying marriage of convenience, if you're marrying so that you can legalize your stay, it's like being in prison for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. It's like being in bondage. If, let's say, you studied English in Nigeria, English literature, your best bet at full integration after your master's degree in Ireland is to do a bridge program first for 1 year, and then do social work. So those are the very important information that you need to know about. Because I've seen several of people getting stranded. Some of them because once you finish studying here, once you get your master's degree or bachelor's degree, they don't, regardless of what disciplines that you studied, you're going to get, let's say you did a bachelor's degree, you're going to get a 1 year post-study visa. That 1 year, it allows you to stay in Ireland and look for a job. If you did a master's degree on some of these useless disciplines, you get a 2 years post-study visa to stay and look for a job. And I guarantee you won't find a job, because the kind of jobs that you'll be looking for doesn't fall under the skill shortage list. So you spend the 1 year or 2 years, it's either you migrate to another European country or you enroll into another program here in Ireland. Now, you will never, because I've seen guys after doing their first degree or their second degree, they will now get into they will now apply to study things that are or things that fall under the skill shortage list. This is a total waste of time. You could do this straight from Nigeria. You come in here, you study exactly what they want, so that you don't spend most of the years, garnering and acquiring degrees that will not economically, or in the economic sense, help you to get along. So this mistake I've seen being like a recurring issue. I've witnessed people who fall under this category of studying things that are not required. It's very frustrating. So I'm putting this video out there so that our people will be able to be inspired by the little information that I've given out, and then you go on and do more personal research to either confirm or disprove what I've been saying. It also prepares you so that when you launch this application to come to Ireland to come study, you know what to expect. You know what to expect. You know what to do. You know how to go about it so that you become economically viable, so that it will be easy for you to integrate, so that your post-study stay here in Ireland will be full of happiness. You feel fulfilled. You know that, okay, I came over here, I've gotten what I wanted, I'm happy now. Instead of jumping from one degree to the next, spending 6-7 years studying for the right course of study, or studying for the right degree that will help you to easily integrate. So please share this video and then like this page, because what I'll be doing, I'll try to unveil one country every week. So I've started with Ireland. Tomorrow or by next week, I'll probably go to Lithuania. I'll probably go to Estonia. I'll probably go to Iceland. I will see which is more convenient to do. So I will do the little research. I will do the little digging. I'll be able to make this information available for would-be educational migrants from Nigeria, so that they don't make the wrong decisions. Because I have friends, I know people who have studied like 3-4 degrees, but they are taxi drivers. And they only became taxi driver because they married someone. They married locals. But you can actually get your paper by, studying what is found on this critical skill list of most of these European countries. If you study the right subjects, if you study the right things, you don't need to get married. You can, on your own, put yourself on the pathway to citizenship without the assistance of any woman or any man. You just study what they need, that's it. You get a critical skill visa. From there, it's a direct pathway to permanent residency. It's a direct pathway to citizenship. So please don't forget to share this video. Don't forget to like this page for more videos like this. Okay, thank you very much for watching, and see you next week.